Καλησπέρα φίλοι μου, είμαστε εδώ για μία ακόμα ραδιοφωνική εκπομπή από την Τάμπα της Φλόριδας. PanHellenic News, Γιώτα Αργυροπούλου Φραγκέδη στο μικρόφωνο. Καλώς ήρθατε στην εκπομπή μας, μείνετε συντονισμένοι. Καλησπέρα σας. Είμαστε εδώ στην ραδιοφωνική μας εκπομπή, όπως κάθε εβδομάδα, ραντεβού ζωντανά στις 4 το απόγευμα. Από την Τάμπα της Φλόριδας συνδεόμαστε με όλο τον κόσμο, με την Ελλάδα, με την Κύπρο, με την Ευρώπη, με την Αμερική, με όλο τον κόσμο από όπου και αν μας ακούτε. Καλησπέρα από εμάς, Γιώτα Αργυροπούλου Φραγκέδη, στο μικρόφωνο της εκπομπής μας. Η εκπομπή μας είναι η PanHellenic News. Τιτλοφορείται PanHellenic News. Νέα από όλη την Ελλάδα και την Κύπρο, την Αμερική φυσικά, που αφορούν τον ελληνισμό. Και είναι μια προσφορά της Πανελλήνιας Ομοσπονδίας Φλόριδας, PanHellenic Federation of Florida. Μπορείτε να μας βρείτε και στην ιστοσελίδα μας ή στο Facebook ή στο webpage, όπου μπορείτε να δείτε περισσότερες πληροφορίες για τις δράσεις μας. Θα θέλαμε να ευχαριστήσουμε όλους όσους παραβρέθηκαν την προπερασμένη Κυριακή στην εκκλησία του Αγίου Στεφάνου, στην εκκλησία του Αγίου Στεφάνου, στο Σεν Πιτ, όπου εκεί τελέστηκε με πρωτοβουλία της Πανελλήνιας Ομοσπονδίας Φλόριδας το ετήσιο μνημόσυνο για την καταστροφή της Μικράς Ασίας, την μικρασιατική καταστροφή, τη γενοκτονία των Ελλήνων και των Αρμενίων φυσικά της Μικράς Ασίας. Οι πρόγονοί μας, οι οποίοι χάθηκαν μέσα στις φωτιές από τα στρατεύματα του Κεμάλ Ατατούρκ. Να πούμε ότι θα ξεκινήσουμε την εκπομπή μας με μερικές ειδήσεις. Καταρχήν να πούμε ότι ο Κριτικός Σύλλογος σας προσκαλεί την Κυριακή 12, αν δεν κάνω λάθος είναι, την Κυριακή 12 Οκτωβρίου στο Κριτικό Σπίτι, στο Palm Harbor, από τις 12 το μεσημέρι και μετά για το ετήσιο πικνίκ. Εκεί θα φτιάξουν, όπως σας έχουν συνηθίσει οι κριτικοί, πολύ ωραία φαγητά, αλλά το πιο σημαντικό είναι ότι φέτος θα έχουμε ζωντανή μουσική, την Εμμανουέλα Χιωτάκη, η οποία θα ταξιδέψει ειδικά για το σκοπό αυτό για να παραβρεθεί στο κριτικό πικνίκ, για να ερμηνεύσει κριτικά τραγούδια, παραδοσιακά, νησιώτικα, λαϊκά, ζωντανά, με ζωντανή μουσική λοιπόν, το ετήσιο κριτικό πικνίκ την Κυριακή 12 Οκτωβρίου, από τις 12 το μεσημέρι και μετά σας περιμένουν οι κριτικοί με σουβλάκι που θα ψήνεται εκείνη την ώρα, λουκουμάδες που θα φτιάχνονται εκείνη την ώρα, παραδοσιακά φαγητά που θα έχουν ετοιμάσει οι γυναίκες του συλλόγου και πολλά γλυκά φυσικά. Και ξαναλέω ότι θα είναι ζωντανά μαζί μας η Εμμανουέλα Χιωτάκη, αυτή η εξαιρετική καλλιτέχνηδα, η οποία κατάγεται από την Κρήτη, από τα Χανιά της Κρήτης, αλλά έχει μετικήσει και στην Αμερική και αυτή, και θα μας κάνει την τιμή να βρίσκεται στο κριτικό πικνίκ. Να πούμε επίσης μερικές ακόμα ανακοινώσεις. Do we have our first guest on the line? Yes? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. So, ας αφήσουμε λοιπόν τις ανακοινώσεις, αφού έχουμε μαζί μας τον κύριο Νίκο Λαριγάκη. Ο Mr. Nick Larigakis is today in our radio program. He's the president of the American Hellenic Institute. And Mr. Larigakis, good afternoon. We're happy to have you today again in our radio program. We would like to talk about what happened in the United Nations General Assembly a few days ago in New York. We saw a lot of background, like, first of all, let's explain to the people. Every year, the United Nations holds a General Assembly meeting. This event convenes in New York with leaders discussing major global challenges. This year the title was Better Together, 80 Years and More for Peace, Development and Human Rights. And we had a lot of background in this United Nations General Assembly. First of all, I would like to say, like, as Greeks and Cyprians, we're not very happy with the meeting we saw with Mr. Trump and Mr. Erdogan, the president of Turkey and the United States president. We saw also the visit of the Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew, who came first before the start of the General Assembly and met with the American president. And then we saw all the other things that happened during the United Nations General Assembly. You were there, Mr. Larigakis. Tell us about your contacts you had within the framework of the UN General Assembly.
Well, look, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be on your program, and I congratulate you on your initiatives there to keep
I'm sorry, we can hear you very well. If you can talk closer to your microphone, please, because it's very...
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, a little bit better.
Hang on a second. I'm going to take off the earphones.
Yes, I think that's the problem. Okay, we have Mr. Larigakis on our radio program starting today. Yes.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, a lot better. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Look, first of all, thank you again for being on the program, and I congratulate you for your continuing efforts to provide information to the Greek American community in the United States, but obviously Greeks around the world as well. Mm-hmm. It's a very admirable cause, and I certainly applaud you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Look, while I was in New York, and I did explain this to you, I was not in the UN Assembly itself. Mm-hmm. You know, I go there every year because there's a number of opportunities that are presented for us to be with the Prime Minister of Greece and also with the President of Cyprus. And within that context, I had a few exchanges with both of them. Mm-hmm. And in the case of Mr. Christodoulidis, the President of the Republic of Cyprus, I was also privileged to be invited to attend by invitation only a breakfast meeting with major Jewish American organizations in New York, where he was the featured speaker, and he expressed his thoughts regarding the Israeli-Cyprus relationship, obviously, and how strong and important that is, and it needs to continue to grow. And of course, the Prime Minister of Greece has always expressed himself within the context of how good a job that Greece continues to do to promote peace and stability in the region. And that is the thing that I concern more than most. I don't get involved in the domestic agenda of Greece. I do get involved, obviously, in the role that Greece plays regarding providing peace and stability in a very turbulent area of the Eastern Mediterranean. And we promote those initiatives by Greece to U.S. policymakers so they understand what countries are supporting U.S. interests in the region, because by promoting peace and stability, you project U.S. geostrategic interests in a very important area of the world. And by contrast, we talk about what countries are not promoting U.S. interests in the region, and that one country, of course, is Turkey.
So we saw, since you're talking about that, Mr. Larigakis, we saw that Erdogan managed to have more contacts with the American president. Like he met with him. They held together a common interview for the mass media all over the world. And we saw Mr. Erdogan leaving the White House. Instead, the Greek Prime Minister or the Cyprian president, they didn't have the chance to meet with the American president. Do you think that this should worry us, like the meeting after the meeting Donald Trump and Erdogan? Do you think it should worry Greek and Cypriots?
Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, first of all, the Prime Minister did, in some capacity, I believe it was a reception in New York where he was invited there by President Trump, and he did appear in that gathering. I'm sure some words were exchanged within that context. But I understand what you're saying. You're talking about the official visit at the White House.
Totally
different.
Let's remember one thing.
Let's remember one thing, okay? Let's remember one thing. Okay, remember what happened to President Zelensky when he visited the White House, okay? So let's don't feel that, a visit to the White House is an end-all in of itself in terms of, that shows or displays some form of the relationship. There's no secret that President Trump, does favor, does like, President Erdogan. You heard it, that day along with millions of people throughout the world. But he did not necessarily walk out there with a hard commitment as it relates to the military hardware that he wanted, because he's still under the CAATCHA restrictions as imposed by Mr. Trump himself in 2019 because of Turkey and through Mr. Erdogan purchasing the S-400 missile defense systems by Russia. So he immediately was kicked out of the F-35 program, and it continues to be so to this day. What it's important to understand is that no matter what potentially may happen down the road in terms of any potential sales regarding weapon systems to Turkey, they still have to be okayed, and confirmed by the U.S. Congress. And we have spoken, I personally, with members of the U.S. Senate, including Chairman Risch a few months ago, and even more recently, Senator Ted Cruz, in some exchange that I had with him a couple of weeks ago. And they're both adamant that as long as Turkey continues to have the S-400, okay, they're not going to receive the F-35s, and they're not going to okay it, and they will continue to block it. Now, I understand there could be political pressure and other things that are going to be going on, but we do have the Congress right now, we feel, okay, that will continue to impose Turkey from getting the F-35s. But I make the point that it's not just the S-400s. Even if the S-400s were to be removed tomorrow from the table as one of the parameters regarding Turkey not receiving the F-35s, there are all the other things that Turkey is continuing to do that they should now be eligible for the F-35s. None more so than, of course, the continuing illegal occupation of Cyprus, now in its 51st year, with close to 40,000 troops illegally stationed there in condemnation of U.S. Security Council resolutions, international law, the rule of law, and the exact same principles of violation of international law that Russia perpetrated in its invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah, but
there's all these other issues.
Nobody seems to remember that, Mr. Larigakis. No, everyone.
Well, that's why we're here to remind them. We're here to remind them. That's our job, and we try to do that to the best of our ability.
Yeah, but we heard Mr. Trump praising the Turkish president. He said that he's a tough guy, that he's responsible, taking credit that he took over Syria, and it was a victory of Turkey. And he said everybody respects Erdogan, and we're going to give you the F-35 if you do something for the United States as well. So he left open the door, but you said we have several steps before we go there. But the thing is, as Greek Americans or as should we wait till we see that day, or should we start preparing, working for that day?
First of all, okay, we take hope in the fact that right now the U.S.-Greek relationship continues to be at an all-time high, and nothing has changed that dynamic. You have American, petroleum companies, are in off the coast of southern Crete, and Chevron, who's also interested in going there as well. There's all sorts of other things that are going on regarding the U.S.-Greek geostrategic relationship at this time, including tremendous amount of American military assets on Greek soil today. Okay, and the relationship is extremely at a high level. So we have to continue to build on that. We understand, and we hear very clearly what Mr. Trump said that day to Mr. Erdogan. And, of course, you have to be concerned. But at the end of the day, all you can continue to do, okay, is to present, okay, what Greece is doing, what Cyprus is doing, okay, how important the 3+1 is to U.S. geostrategic interest, and how these are the countries that are Western-oriented, democratic, same values, and so forth. These are the ones who are promoting your agenda, and to continue to point out where Turkey continues to be a thorn in the side regarding U.S. interest in the region throughout that whole region. And that's all you continue to do, and you continue to work with people on Capitol Hill to push the agenda. We've been extremely busy on Capitol Hill with legislation and various amendments, and it's a whole legislative process that we are continuing to follow through right now on certain amendments that, if it were to pass, will continue to strengthen, the U.S.-Greek relationship, but more importantly, will also strengthen the 3+1 relationship that we feel is critically important, okay, to providing, for the stability in the region.
What do you think we should do? What should be the tactics of American associations and federations to forward these goals, as you said?
Yeah, it's very simple. As Tip O'Neill, the former Speaker of the House, said, all politics is local. And I encourage all your listeners, okay, wherever they may be, to be reaching out to their members of Congress and to continuously, advocate, okay, regarding some of the things I just said. And not to get into all the various nuances, okay, but I would just encourage them to reach out to their members and say, we heard what the president said, but I'm here to tell you, and I want you to support, that Turkey does not receive the F-35 or any other military weapon systems from the United States. As long as it continues to have the S-400, it continues to violate Greek territorial integrity through its blue homeland doctrine, and also its continuing illegal occupation of now 51 years of the Republic of Cyprus. And we should stand firm, and Turkey should not receive one piece of hardware from the United States as long as these things don't change. And, of course, you know, there's the ecumenical patriarchate issue as well. And you notice how Mr. Erdogan referred to the patriarch, according to his translator. He used the words, the esteemed Mr. Bartholomew. He never used the word ecumenical patriarch because they don't recognize his ecumenical title, which is another tremendous issue as it relates to the religious freedom of the patriarch, and it's a lot more. So there's a lot, you know, a lot of irons in the fire.
Do you think that the Greek Cypriot diplomacy should do something different to achieve better goals?
That is not for me to say. That is for them to say. I do not get involved in the internal diplomatic policies regarding how Greece and Cyprus conducts itself. My job is to conduct and to promote the policies within the U.S. policy establishment community. We're American citizens. We advocate on behalf of U.S. interests in the Eastern Mediterranean, and we're here to say that your interests are served best by continuing to develop and strengthen the relationship between Greece and Cyprus, because these are the countries that help serve your interests, the United States of America.
And we have a new officially sworn, the new U.S. ambassador in Greece, Mrs. Kimberly Guilfoyle, was officially sworn yesterday.
Yes.
And
Monday, but yeah.
Finally, making her the first female U.S. ambassador to the Hellenic Republic. So
I found that I didn't, you know, really pick up on that until I read it, but that's totally true.
Λοιπόν, thank you, Mr. Larigakis, for your time. Thank you for all your efforts that you are doing through the AATCHA, through the American Hellenic Association, helping Greek Americans and Greek Cypriots for matters that depend on like national affairs or heritage, Greek American heritage. Thank you very much for all your efforts. We'll stay in touch.
Thank you.
I
appreciate the opportunity.
Have a nice afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nick Larigakis. Ακούσαμε, κυρίες και κύριοι, ο κύριος Νίκος Λαριγάκης, πρόεδρος του American Hellenic Institute. Ακούσαμε λίγο από το παρασκήνιο το τι έγινε στην Ουάσιγκτον τις προηγούμενες μέρες κατά τη Γενική Συνέλευση του ΟΗΕ. Είδατε κι εσείς αρκετά από τα πράγματα που συνέβησαν στη συνεντεύξη, στην κοινή συνέντευξη τύπου Erdogan-Trump, η οποία ανησύχησε ιδιαίτερως, θα λέγαμε, Ελληνοαμερικάνους και Κύπριους Αμερικάνους, σχετικά με την τροπή των σχέσεων που μπορεί να λάβει, τα ανταλλάγματα που μπορεί να λάβει ο Τούρκος πρόεδρος από τον Αμερικανό πρόεδρο, κυρίως που αφορούν τον μαχητικό εξοπλισμό της Τουρκίας, αλλά φυσικά και άλλα ανταλλάγματα που μπορεί να αφορούν την οικονομική ενίσχυση, την ενίσχυση διμερών εμπορικών σχέσεων Αμερικής-Τουρκίας. Όλα αυτά τα παρακολουθούμε από πολύ κοντά, όπως ακούσατε και τον κύριο Λαριγκάκη να λέει. Όλα αυτά ξεκινούν από τοπικό επίπεδο ως Ελληνοαμερικάνοι. Θα πρέπει να πιέσουμε τοπικά τους senators και τους congressmen να τους αδείξουμε ποιος είναι ο ένας σύμμαχος και ποιος είναι ο άλλος, και φυσικά να δείξουμε την αξία της μίας και της άλλης χώρας. Αυτός είναι και ο ρόλος των οργανισμών, αυτός είναι και ο ρόλος της Πανελλήνιας Ομοσπονδίας Φλόριδας, να προωθήσουμε ζητήματα, να συνεργαστούμε μαζί με τα τοπικά σωματεία που έχουμε εδώ στην περιοχή μας, αλλά και με άλλες οργανώσεις και οργανισμούς σε όλη την Αμερική και εκτός. Θα ακούσουμε και για το ζήτημα αυτό σε λίγο, προκειμένου να προωθήσουμε τα ζητήματα, την ελληνοαμερικανική ατζέντα στο Κογκρέσο, και φυσικά να αναδείξουμε ζητήματα της παράνομης τουρκικής κατοχής στην Κύπρο, αλλά και άλλα ζητήματα που αφορούν τον ελληνισμό. Let's go to our advertisement break and we will be back.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you craving the taste of Greece?
The Greek's Taverna is here, where you can eat like a Greek.
Delicious gyros and souvlaki, perfectly grilled meats, homemade food and desserts. Fresh ingredients and hospitality like only Greeks can offer at 128 North Pinellas Avenue, Tarpon Springs, close to St. Nicholas Orthodox Church.
Join us every other Thursday for an authentic Greek music night. Stay tuned on Facebook. Orders and catering, 727-626-4891.
The Greek's Taverna. We bring Greece to Tarpon Springs.
Oh no, my watch stopped again. What time is it?
It's time you got that watch repaired, and I know exactly the place. Timekeeper in Countryside Mall, Clearwater. They've been around a long time, and they have an expert technician who can repair watches, replace batteries, can even make you a new piece of jewelry with an old piece you have. Look at this beautiful necklace he made me with some old things I had lying around.
Don't forget, Timekeeper at Countryside Mall, Clearwater. Call at 797-4411.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Αλλάζουμε τώρα θέμα, κυρίες και κύριοι. Πάμε τώρα στο δεύτερο συνέδριο με τίτλο Smart Islands που έγινε σε ακριτικά νησιά του Αιγαίου μας 20 και 21 Σεπτεμβρίου με πρωτοβουλία για δεύτερη χρονιά του Διεθνούς Συνδέσμου Ελλήνων International Hellenic Association στα νησιά Ψέριμος, Γάβδος και Καστελόριζος, στα ακριτικά νησιά αυτά του Αιγαίου Πελάγου, τα οποία χρήζουν